Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'd like to talk to you today about the approach I take when I'm dealing with a case involving a vascular disease. And typically, this is in the form of DVT, deep vein thrombosis, or it could be peripheral artery disease. And these conditions are typically quite disabling because of the implications of having problems with your circulatory system. It can be very, very painful. It can cause cognitive problems. It can cause issues with having to have your feet raised. It really limits you from doing any kind of activity at all in many cases, and it can really play havoc with your life. As a result, Social Security judges tend to be fairly sympathetic to vascular disease cases, and I've had pretty good success with them, assuming my client testifies credibly and the medical is supportive. These cases are usually winners. So I would encourage you, if you've got a vascular disease like deep vein thrombosis or peripheral artery disease or other vascular diseases, maybe an ulceration that won't heal, that would be something to really think about applying for disability, because you've got a good chance at winning. There are basically a couple of different approaches that I take. One, of course, is, does my client meet a listing? And the listings are where Social Security has identified medical problems that on their face are so severe that we don't need to really even worry too much about specific work limitations. The implication is, if you've got this disease, if you've got this medical condition, that you are inherently going to be found disabled. And the listing for peripheral artery disease and deep vein thrombosis, vascular diseases, is going to be typically at listing 4, which is the cardiovascular system. I've got a link to it on the screen there. And basically, you show that despite treatment, you are throwing blood clots, or that you're not getting sufficient blood flow. Sometimes another listing is involved, and that could be listing 12, which is organic mental disorder. That would be a situation where you're not getting sufficient blood flow to the brain, so that you're not able to function. Your brain is not functioning properly, and that could also be a listing level. So cases that are listing level typically get approved early, although not always. The way I deal with listing level cases is identify the listing that is most appropriate. I will prepare a checklist for the doctor. I will get it either through you or directly to the doctor, and ask the doctor to check off a list of conditions that sort of tracks the listings. And if we have that, we can submit it to the judge and show that, in fact, your case meets a listing. You get approved quite quickly and you move on. So that's how a listing level case works. I will tell you that judges are usually not all that open to listing level cases at hearings. They'll do them, but usually cases at hearings are decided on what's called functional capacity. For some reason, the judges seem to think that the listing level cases should be caught early, or the medical needs to be really, really clear, and if the people at the adjudication office didn't catch it, then they're just going to typically approve based on functional capacity. And what functional capacity basically means is that you would not be a reliable employee at even a simple entry-level sit-down type of job. Imagine a job where you're taking, ink pens and you're putting them in a box 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You can sit or stand. There's no interaction with the public or coworkers. You can't keep your legs up, but you can sit or stand. It's a very, very simple, what I would call a warm body kind of job. Can you do something like that? And if you can't, then your capacity would be so reduced you would not be able to function in a workplace. And the reason your capacity might be reduced would be that you have to have your legs extended, you've got to take too many breaks to move around and walk around, stretch out, or get your circulation going. You're likely to miss 3 or 4 days of work a month, things like that. It's just reliability issues. So that's the way I deal with those. And again, I try to enlist the help with the doctor. I'll put together a functional capacity form that I've customized for the particular vascular problem. Again, if it's DVT, I'll talk about the blood clots and the issues relating thereto, the medications. If it's peripheral artery disease, we'll talk about the implications there in terms of functioning, in terms of need to be careful around the work site. If you're on Coumadin, what that means, and basically ask the doctor to identify specific functional limitations with the emphasis on reliability. And if the doctor will do that, the judge will be pretty receptive to it, and typically your testimony will be in line with that form to show that you would not be able to function because your reliability would be suspect, or you would not be able to do a sit-stand type of job because of the need to move around or to keep your legs raised or your arms raised or wherever it may be. So that's the way I approach vascular diseases. Again, usually pretty good cases, usually going to be winners if there's decent medical. If you've got a vascular disease, I'm more than happy to chat with you about it. My number is 770-393-4985. My other contact information is below. Again, my name is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a Georgia Social Security Disability Attorney. I hope this has been helpful. And again, any questions, contact me. Otherwise, we'll talk to you soon.